Hey, this is Molly. Welcome back to my YouTube channel as we take a look at the June 10th Gemini Solar Eclipse. It is happening at 6:53 a.m. That's Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So be sure and adjust for your location on the planet. Now, this is actually our last Gemini eclipse for the next 9 years, and it is quite an interesting one. So let's take a look here at what we have going on. So first of all, every solar eclipse is a new moon with the sun and the moon conjunct here at 19 degrees of Gemini, 47 minutes. So we round up to 20. So this is at 20 degrees of Gemini in your natal chart, and you want to locate the house because the house is the area of life where this new energy is coming through. And a solar eclipse is basically a super-powered new moon with a very significant new start energy. New energies coming in that are basically a power punch, getting us going, getting us started in the house where these two energies are working together. Now you'll also notice that the sun and the moon are right here with Mercury retrograde. Mercury's at 20 degrees of Gemini, 41 minutes retrograde, so almost exactly conjunct both the sun and the moon. And Mercury is also the ruler of this solar eclipse. So Mercury is extra significant here because not only is it conjunct the sun and the moon, but it's the ruler and it's retrograde. So it's a very interesting dialogue here. Now, Gemini is our mental energy, how we think, communicate, process information. It's about our daily local environment. It's about what we do every day, how we go about our life, our schedules, our errands, the things we need to take care of. Gemini tends to move quickly. It is more of a sprinter energy that moves fast. It is associated with how we get things moving and going forward. And so there is a lot of energy here with this solar eclipse about our daily lives picking up a pace, going faster, more things opening, perhaps more things now that you need to get done. If school is getting out, you're planning trips and vacations. This is a pick up the pace energy, but it's very interesting because this is a retrograde Mercury that says slow down, reconsider, confirm details, make sure you've got it right. So what we have is this interesting retrograde that is a restart for a new start. Restart, new start, where we're doing something for the second time. We're starting again. We see it differently. We see clearer. There's new information that perhaps has come in. Now, Mercury is the messenger and the storyteller. Mercury basically will travel ahead of the sun to collect information, scope out the scene, and then during retrograde, brings that back to the sun, reports back, says, here, boss, this is what I've discovered, this is what I found out. So a Mercury retrograde is bringing information back for the new start. There's something that maybe you missed the first time or a detail you overlooked, information you didn't have. Because Gemini is a duality sign, we can do things twice with Gemini where maybe we start something quickly and we go for it and then we're like, wait a minute, I didn't think this through enough. Because Gemini is so quick, there can be that impulsive instant like, I'm going to do this, I like this, I'm going to go for it. But with the Mercury retrograde influence, we're reconsidering, reanalyzing, rethinking something, reprioritizing. And it's through this reconsideration that we're getting a powerful new start. Something bigger is happening because maybe you already did the first version and it didn't work out so well. Even if you've been thinking about something, you've been sitting with it. You've been sitting with it and you're like, what am I going to do with this? Or what do I want to do? How am I going to move forward? This is a lot of processing. There's a heavy influence here, as you can see, of Gemini energies, plus that North Node in Gemini, which is what we're learning and developing. We're learning to be better communicators. We're learning to ask more questions. We're learning to stay open to what we don't know, to not make expectations on people, to not make assumptions. And we're saying, okay, let's keep the dialogue going, because that Gemini energy will keep a conversation going. And in the higher octave, it will ask the right questions so that you can gather the best possible information. So here we have a lot of strong energy in Gemini, all ruled by this Mercury retrograde in Gemini, which is his home sign. So we are really reevaluating parts of our lives, reconsidering where we're going, what we want, what we've been thinking about, looking at what is the intentional new start that I want to make. Maybe it's not what I thought originally, because now there's new information that's coming through and coming in that can also help support a new start you've been making. This energy does have a slowdown to it, which is interesting for a solar eclipse, which is typically very dynamic and active, especially in the air signs. Air signs are masculine. They are go-getters. They are ready to get something moving with their ideas, projects, relationships, connections. This is not going too fast for yourself. This is a slowdown. One more thing about this important solar eclipse is that Venus was retrograde here in Gemini a year ago, April, May, June of 2020. Venus was retrograde through this same point and this same area of Gemini. So is there something a year ago that you're revisiting that Venus showed you or Venus opened up, and now you have new information or more information, and now there's a new start that comes through after the Venus retrograde? But also, this energy is going to pick up after the Mercury retrograde. Now, these three planets here, Sun, Moon, Mercury, are each in dialogue with this Neptune at 23 degrees of Pisces, 8 minutes. This energy is very influential because Neptune is an outer planet, and it is making a square. You can see here the square to each of these three planets. So Neptune is talking to the Sun, talking to the Moon, talking to Mercury. Now, 3 days after this eclipse, the Sun will be at 23 degrees of Gemini, exactly squaring Neptune. A few hours after this eclipse, the Moon will be at 23 degrees, exactly squaring Neptune. And then Mercury is in an ongoing dialogue, squaring Neptune into early July. So what we have is an understanding that we actually don't know everything just yet, because this Neptune in Pisces removes and dissolves. It takes away and withholds. And through a square, that can be, we don't have all the informations in our mind yet. This can be where we're wanting more details and specifics, and this Neptune isn't providing it. It's taking it away. The Neptune energy can also show up as you don't hear something accurately, you don't hear something clearly, or you misspeak, or the information is not what it seems. There can be deception, white lies, things that are not fully revealed when Neptune is squaring Gemini. Gemini is the information and the communication, and this Neptune is withholding it. So it's a very interesting dance here where we're trying and wanting to do a lot mentally in our everyday life, in our communications, in our travels, but it's not quite fully here yet. And Mercury is coming back with new information, new stories that was missed the first time. But even Mercury is not fully energized because that Neptune in Pisces is removing all the information. the full story, I should say. The full story is not known yet. Now, the higher expression of this is that Neptune in Pisces is your spiritual self, your higher self, your intuition, your spiritual knowing, your spiritual connections, which means that this part of you is totally cool, is got it figured out, is good to go, is fine with how things are unfolding, because the Neptune in Pisces will trust the timing, will trust the unknowns and the voids. This is the part of you that is okay enjoying every day as it comes, enjoying what shows up, even as your mind, that Gemini mind, is organizing and planning and working out the logistics. There's things that you can't know just yet, that we're in this space of, I can only do what I can do, but in the meantime, I can trust more. I can trust that I don't have to figure it all out or know it all just yet. It's okay to not have the full story, because it's coming together in a way that will be clearer in probably a month, which isn't that long. And I'm saying a month because that's when the sun will be in Cancer and will trine this Neptune. So there's this energy of, something is starting here. Something's beginning. I'm rethinking, I'm reconsidering. More information's coming through that I missed. It's going to help me plan better. And this is all I can maybe focus on right now. Then let yourself off the hook for what you don't know yet. And that's where we really meet some of our humanness. We meet our own ego when we're not in control or we're not sure what's happening next, because the surrender can be scary until you learn to trust it, until you really feel like you're safe. Things are taken care of. This is happening in a really beautiful way. I can't see it all yet. But in the meantime, I can enjoy what's in front of me today. I can be aware of it. I also feel like this square from Neptune is removing part of our overactive mental energy. The parts of us that are really strongly feeling this Gemini vibe, we're being gifted with stepping back and stepping away so that you're not too much in your head or spinning or in anxiety and stress and worry. It's sort of like, this is an opportunity to trust more and to do so outside of what you're thinking about, that overactive mind, the overthinking or overprocessing. Now, some other energies we have going on here is that on June 14th, so a few days after the eclipse, we're going to have the second square between Saturn, which is here at 13 degrees of Aquarius retrograde, and Uranus at 12 degrees of Taurus, 54 minutes. Now, this square is going to happen at 13 degrees. Uranus will get to 13 degrees in a matter of 4 days, and they will have an exact square. And Saturn is actually weaker because Saturn is retrograde. So when they first had a square in February, middle of February, both planets were direct. Now this Saturn is internalized, thinking it through, reconsidering, really getting clearer on what matters for the long term. But this Uranus is going his own way. He's breaking out, breaking free. I know what I want. I know what I need. I'm clear on what matters to me. This is the energy of self. So there's a strong sense of self emerging because it's in Taurus, the self-reliance, the ability to do it your way, what you want. This is very strong freedom, liberation, awakening energy. It's breaking away from the group, the crowd, the community, the people, which is Saturn in Aquarius. Uranus is stronger. I got to do this. This is what I want. This is what matters to me. This is my value system. This is what I need in my life. This energy is stronger. So we're also feeling the reverberations of that energy as it builds and when it will be exact 4 days after this eclipse. So it's interesting because of how the energies of Gemini are very strong, but weakened by Neptune in Pisces. And I feel like we're getting some understanding of what we really want at this point in our life. It's very strong. It's getting louder. It's getting louder. Now you'll see that this Mars is over here at 29 degrees of Cancer, 18 minutes, almost, well, completely done here with Cancer, and moves into Leo on June 11th, the day after this eclipse. But this Mars is still in a bit of a standoff with this Pluto. So there could be a power struggle that's been going on for you prior to this solar eclipse. The power struggle is uncomfortable. There's tension. There could be a part of yourself that's been feeling a fear and not sure what to do with it, not sure how to move through it in a way, almost like that sense of, this is what I want to go for. Mars in Cancer, though, is stirring up the emotional fears around it. But once Mars moves into Leo, he's much stronger. He's very strong in the fire signs. And that's where he gets a stronger sense of self around what he wants next. So this energy has been providing tension, but I think it's going to be released. I feel like the middle of June has this like release and shifting gears and moving into something that is really true for you, that maybe you've been pondering or sitting with for most of this year, if not longer. And the Mercury retrograde, I see it as working in our favor. It's helping you not miss any details or anything that you need, making sure you've got the information, that what you need is coming to you and coming back to you if you missed it the first time. So this is a really interesting solar eclipse because you're probably having to trust in a really big way. What you can't figure out, you just surrender it and know that it will come to you. It will show up for you. It will come back around. Any information or details that you're missing. And that, yes, it could be confusing. There are things that maybe you really want to have figured out, or you're just, tell me, I want to know. And it's not time. But that can be wonderfully supported, because when you stay the course, when you trust what's right for you, when you understand that you're really in your power, when you make decisions that are in alignment with who you are now, then that's what will come through. That's what will show up. So we're still learning. There's something we're learning, and Gemini is about how we learn, how we take in information and use it and apply it in a way that is important and is beneficial. This is also the power of communication, the power of our thoughts. And with that strong square from Neptune, it's taking a break from our mind, stepping away from the overthinking, overprocessing, and going into meditation, calming the mind, mindfulness practices, anything that can alleviate any form of stress or anxiety. We're really having to recalibrate ourselves at this time. And I feel like even though we could be very busy and very tired, by the way, because that Neptune in Pisces will exhaust us and say, oh my goodness, I need a break. The bigger picture is that new parts of us are coming through, and we're learning to think differently, think in new ways, expand the mind, think in a way that maybe we just didn't understand from a certain perspective just yet. So it's quite the interesting solar eclipse. It is a new start, but a restart. It could relate to something for you about a year ago when when Venus was retrograde in Gemini in the same area of your chart. There could be more information coming through that is actually wildly supportive. And it makes it worth the wait. So that's another way to look at this, is that what you want right now, what's beginning and emerging, the new starts of this solar eclipse, it's not fully here yet, but chances are it will be worth the wait, because I feel like this means the universe is working in our favor to bring in more that we just can't see yet and we don't know. So I hope that helps you with this solar eclipse energy, what may be coming up for you, what you might be moving through, anything that is moving and shifting in our lives. And of course, that is a big theme here, where we have many planets in the mutable signs. We have the 3 planets here in Gemini, plus the North Node, and then we have Jupiter in Pisces, and that, of course, Neptune in Pisces. So a lot is shifting and changing. We can't quite see it yet, but we can absolutely keep trusting. Now, if you want to go into more of the energies of June, I have the June monthly soul growth astrology webinars available now. It's only $11 with coupon code Gemini, and it goes through the full astrology for the month of June, including more about the solar eclipse, as well as the Capricorn full moon that's happening in June. So check that out below this video. Otherwise, I wish you a beautiful new start with this solar eclipse. If you're restarting something, it could be in a more powerful way, in a more strengthened position, and it could be time. It really could be time now for something to begin with the power of the solar eclipse. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm here every Monday and Wednesday for my podcast, and you can also find out more about my latest astrology courses and programs below this video. I'll see you back here soon.